to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and just about everything under the sun. So if you're a first-time viewer, feel free to ask your questions in the chat or after the fact. You can always submit me an email to kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness, has the links to all the social medias, as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun, and so feel free to join us there. Only one rule in the Discord: don't be a dick. That's it. That's the only rule. Also at wayofthebrush.com, you'll find links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. And of course, you'll find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, this channel would not be able to continue to do what it is that I do. And so a huge thank you to everybody for their continued support, and for all you brand new people. Huge thank you. Of course, speaking of thank yous, big thank you to Carl, Got Me Earl for Beer and Blood Bowl. It's a YouTube channel. Check it out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the begin and end of the show. And so always much love to my baby bro Evan. If you're into rare comics, EB Comics. It's in the description below. It's down there. EB, you got to kind of sift through them. Like you got to decipher. There's a bit of deciphering going on. So you got to the video descriptions. I know people like don't look at them. I don't. I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't read. Who's joining us today? Oh, I can see Demon Monkeybot saying Kervoshi's following. Thank you, Kervoshi. Evan Belleau, sup everybody? Sup Sophie? Hey monkeys. Hey Kris. Hey Sophie. Dan Squats. Next Army. Yes. So, just moments before I was gonna go live, G-Dubs drops a bomb on everyone. They fooled. We thought they fooled us yesterday. It was like, squats. They're bringing back squats or space dwarves. Let's just go with space dwarves, right? Because, you never know. Squats might be a derogatory term. In the article that they post here, let's just jump over really quick here to the article. So, in the article, they talk about how folk from Necromunda call them squats. And it's kind of a derogatory term, I guess. They are the Leagues of Votan. That's what they're going with now. So the Leagues of Votan. And, I'm not going to lie. They suck. No, I'm just kidding. They look pretty darn cool. They almost look a bit Van Sar, don't they? Don't they have a bit of a Van Sar vibe to them? And I'm wondering if that's why they kind of linked that Necromundian type of tagline with them. People of Necromunda call them squats. It's interesting because in Warhammer, in Battlefleet Gothic, it was long suspected that the way they're described, the demiurge in Battlefleet Gothic, and they were described as being, little dwarves living in mines and, advanced technology and all this other, typically associated with dwarf type of lore. And yeah, you know what, man? I like these guys. These are fun. I like their space runes. Like, they have a high-tech vibe to them, yet they're not. The armor actually kind of looks a bit like, almost like Dune. Like the upper portion, it reminds me of Dune. It's a little heavier duty looking than Dune, of course, with the nuts and bolts and stuff like that. But, yeah, I am very, very excited for this. This is pretty darn cool. And there's also a nice little video, of course, that accompanies it. It was a total debate with the video yesterday. April Fools, everybody, brushed it off. But it just seemed like there was too much effort to me in that video. It reeked of effort. You know what I mean? Because like some of the shots of like the ships, that was obviously CG. The way they get the light to play on the surface, and like that's too hard to do It can be done in 2D fashion, like, with layers and stuff like that, but it felt more like it was 3D. And in part, I was kind of hoping maybe this is something to tease Battlefleet Gothic, right? Because, many of us old schoolers, we want Battlefleet Gothic back as well. At least a new version of it, especially with like all the factions being plastic. I would be okay if they even up the scale just a little bit of Battlefleet Gothic. I would be fine with that. And then, of course, they gave us the squats teaser at the end of the video, and it's like, oh, squats, and it's like, oh, what a punch right in the bag. It's like, oh, you losers who are still crying about squats, what a bunch of losers, and it's like, and then today they reveal it the next following day. Dwarves, Space Dwarves, Leagues of Votan. I gotta get used to saying Leagues of Votan. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue. I don't know, maybe if I said it with an English accent, it might roll off the tongue, but as it is right now, it doesn't really quite roll off the tongue. Let me move this a little, there we go. I like it a little bit more central. It's all about the ambience. I was gonna bust out the smoke machine. I was like, and then, no. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm curious. Okay, everybody place your bets. Are we going to see these guys in Kill Team first? Are we going to get Kill Team and 40K release? Are these guys going to show up in Necromunda? You know what I mean? Because they kind of make that reference to Necromunda. That, that's what they call them, right? Because Necromunda is like full of uncouth people, apparently, right? So, where do we go, right? And also, like, we're getting this preview now, and where does it go? Like, when does it get released? I'm thinking summer, of course. I always end up saying that, summertime, right? And yeah, I don't know. It could be next fall for all we know, right? This could have just been a teaser just to get everybody all pumped up. And I mean, I'm pumped. And I never even played squats. I used to have a few. I used to have the Hearthguard, Warlord and Exo Armor. I even had one of the Trikes, and I had a whole bunch of squats at one point. And I think I just gave them away to one of my buddies. Yeah, I think I gave them away to one of my buddies. I had squats, and I was like, here, go ahead, have at it. At the time, there wasn't much going on with squats. Other than collectors. I might still have a squat or two kicking around. I know I have one fully painted from way back in the day. It was one of my faves. He looked like right out of the Rogue Trader book. If you go into the old Rogue Trader, there's a picture of dwarves. One has like a cap with it looks like sergeant markings, and another one standing there with like a cigar. And I painted the one with the cigar because he was like, it just looked like a very dwarf kind of thing, right? He's just kind of sitting there, just smoking a cigar, So, yeah. Oh, I'm excited. But unfortunately, though, now here's the thing. Unfortunately, this whole conversation we're all having about squats, does it feel like it's going to overshadow today's pre-release? Because today is Arena of Shades. Kind of a big deal for Age of Sigmar and Age of Sigmar players and collectors. And, it's Nighthaunt versus the Daughters of Cain. And there's 2 new models in that box set. And it feels like this whole thing with the squats is just going to overshadow that release. Now, I don't sit on any kind of groups or anything like that where these decisions are made. So, I'm not consulted. And I don't see a reason why they would consult me anyway. So, but yeah, I feel like this kind of thing might overshadow that release. And I don't think that's really a good move, especially when your goals are to sell shit, right? The goal is to sell shit. But dwarves, space dwarves, spas dwarves, I'm very excited. And yeah, I'm not saying you should be excited. I'm just saying I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, it's been so long since we've had an addition to 40K as far as adding a new faction. Now, I'm not talking about like Space Marines getting another chapter added in, right? Getting a book, and it's, it's the Night Devastator Wolves or whatever the fuck you want to call them, right? I mean, like, actually, that's not a bad chapter title name, right? Anyway, I'm talking about like when Tau got added in, or even Necrons, because Necrons came in third edition. Tau came in third edition. It was like near the end of third edition. Tau they brought Tau in, but it's been so long. Well, I guess Genes to the Cult, I guess, being formalized as a proper faction in the game. I guess Genes to the Cult, because that Genes to the Cult's what, 8th edition, 7th edition. It's when they brought Genes to the Cult in, right? Something like that. So, Admech. Sorry, yeah, Colin. Yeah, Admech. Right, Admech's another one. Okay, so we do get some new factions, but I think the most anticipated one being this leagues of Votan. Yeah, I'm for it. You know, again, I'm sure many of us old timers, people that are around my age group, or have long been a fan, been playing since first edition, Rogue Trader. Yeah, very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Man, I'm a little bit behind on the comments now. Phaedros over on Twitch. Greetings and salutations, my friend. I know now what Xenos faction I'm starting, because these diminutive lads, the Greybeards, once told me of our back. Yeah, I mean, why not? Right? Why not just wait? I mean, it's only going to be months. So, if resources are a little tight, then save your pennies now. So you can get one of the big battle boxes, or maybe, I mean, again, who knows? I'm speculating summertime. It could be before that. It could be afterwards. Right? From me, it's pure speculation. So, take from me, well, I mean, don't even have to take it. I mean, like, I'm just talking out of my ass at this point, really. I'm on a bit of adrenaline high. I mean, like, I was shocked, and I made a TikTok video yesterday about how I was deeply wounded that this was a prank, and so now it's a reality, and we're getting them. And yeah, I'm in for it, man. I'm in for it. I am in for it, and man, I mean, like, they just look so darn good. I mean, it's too much fun. Look at these little guys. Look at them. I like the runes. I like how the runes kind of have a bit of a digital vibe to them. Like, if you were to, go with the old rune system as a writing, and if it had survived to today in our own actual world, I'm sure we would have digital versions of these runes. And yeah, I cannot lie. I'm looking forward to these little buggers. And he's even got a little power fisted plasma pistol. But the thing is I get really strong Van Sar vibes, which makes me a little bit suspicious of, they're making the connection with the Necromundans. Necromundans? Yeah, meanwhile, those nasty Necromundans call them squats. like it's a derogatory term for them. Which is hilarious. I mean, it's fitting, right? Because I mean, like, when we get to it, right, it's, it is kind of disrespectful. So yeah, I'm excited. Fire Drink 18 squats. That is all. Bye, monkeys. Later. Phaedros, huzzah for potentially power armored Xenos to round up my obsession with power armor. Yeah, they're pretty darn cool. I like them. Simply mini painting, a little like Gene Stealer Cults. Yeah, a little like Gene Stealer Cults. Yeah. So I'm curious to see where they go with this, right? Sophie, I think Kill Team Squad first. Yeah, you think we'll get Kill Team Squads first and then the full faction? I wouldn't be surprised if, like, we get a Kill Team or whatever the next Kill Team box is, because, I mean, one has just come out, so it's going to be a while before we get another Kill Team box. At least, like, what? At least a year? Unless, of course, they really want to push, more shit, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. So, yeah, I guess maybe the army first, and then we get the Kill Team just short while after, probably around Christmas time, you know what I mean? New box comes out, Kill Team. New Kill Team. Dwarves, Space Dwarves, special. It's a specialty unit. Of course, though, if the box comes out and that unit is in the codex, then I guess it can't be too far behind, because they don't want to leave room for anybody to, because Games Workshop, right, in light of, the past, they don't want to have anything in their books that they're not already producing a model for, right? So, yeah, I'm sure in the coming months there's going to be more and more teases of squats. Remember the picture of the lance that had the grenade inside of it, right? It looked like a spear tip with a grenade. I wonder if it's something for them. Eh? What? Comsolets? Squat Combat Patrol released before Tyranids? Bastards. A Squat Combat Patrol? No, a Combat Patrol is... I'm thinking like at least summertime when that comes out. Tyranid Combat Patrol, I'm sure that's soon. Because we're getting all sorts of teasers for Tyranids. And so that stuff's got to be dropping soon. Simply Mini Painting. The article says this year. Right, but I mean, Christmas, December is this year. So, who knows? All I'm saying is I don't think it's not going to be until like summer when we get it. Maybe even June. Because remember, you also have to view this through the lens of Games Workshop being a big business and, making decisions to appease stockholders. And so they go by quarterlies, right? They part up the year by quarter so that their profits remain high throughout the year, kind of thing, right? So I'm sure because again, like this stuff about squats, like this isn't, they just didn't make this up last weekend. They said, what would be great for an April Fool's prank? April Fool's prank? If we teased them about squats. And they said, you know what? Yeah, that's a great idea. Then the next day said, let's make models about them. Okay, let's make models. Let's keep the joke going. It's not like this was a spur of the moment thing. This is like months and months and months. This is probably years in the making. Years in the making of squats coming back. So, yeah. I speculate. Again, I have no inside information or anything like that. I have no knowledge of the inner workings of how things like the design choices and the thought process and how things flow down from design to production to, Like I have no idea how that all goes. So I'm talking completely out of my ass. So anyway, Sophie, probably the August release summer holidays for kids here in the UK. If later it'll be Christmas. Yeah, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be summer, maybe late summer. I'm willing to speculate. I'm going to go with summer. I would speculate summer. Summer seems really early. Like June would seem really early, but I'm thinking more like August. I don't know. Who knows? We'll get there when we get there, I guess. Simply Mini Painting. Everything overshadows Age of Sigmar. Everything? Well, I mean, 40K. But see, the thing is, though, is that there's been a lot of focus on Age of Sigmar in the last, 2 years? There's been a lot of exciting releases out of Age of Sigmar. There's been all these updates, and you know what I mean? Like, Age of Sigmar has gotten a lot of love from Games Workshop. And maybe they're shifting a little bit, giving the older child a bit more attention, because the new child is getting all the, it's a newborn baby and, getting all the love. And then, the older child's like, well, what about me? And then, of course, there's Battlefleet Gothic, upstairs in his attic apartment room. And he's like, I don't want to be part of this family. I don't know. If you were to break down all the games like it was the family dynamic, then, yeah. I guess Warhammer would probably be one of the oldest, though. Warhammer and Warhammer Fantasy would be the oldest. But unfortunately, tragically, the Warhammer Fantasy child, yeah, that kid died. Horrible accident. Waversburg. New squats look like the guys from Gears of War. Yeah, they do have a bit of a Gears of War vibe. Yeah, the big, chunky armor and everything like that. Yeah. And even the gun. Yeah, the gun even looks a bit like the Gears of War gun, doesn't it? Yeah. I wonder what kind of gun it is. Like it matters. But like, for example, okay, we'll go back. We're gonna keep going back to this picture all day. All day we're doing it. That's all way the brush is today. It's just looking at this picture. But this gun, like, do you factor it in being a projectile type weapon, or is it a heater type weapon, or is it like Tau where everything's kind of plasma based? I mean, if these guys are, you know, advanced, because like typically the squats in 40K are like, they're more advanced. They're kind of like a mixture of what humans would be like if, you know, there was no separation of the Imperium and the Mechanicus, right? Like dwarves, you know, do their own thing kind of thing. And yeah, because it's got a canister under it, and it's got the heating vents on the side. Yeah. And he's also got that little funky little grenade on his back belt. The picture of his back. I don't know. It's exciting. I'm excited. This is fun. Like, what's not to like about these little guys? Like, yeah. They are a lot of fun. And we're only looking at one freaking model here, people, and we're already gushing like fools. And yeah. But even the canister has vents. So like, what kind of weapon is he wielding? What kind of technology is it? Like it matters, but and they may really make this thing about the chest lamp, right? They have this chest lamp. That seems to be the vibe. It has almost a Iron Man kind of vibe, doesn't it? They have that chest lamp. Anyway. Ranzarek? I hope they include them in Kill Team. I hope so too. I think so. I think we will. I think we'll get a Kill Team out of them. I mean, like, why not, right? And I'm sure once we get closer to, like, you know, the cycle for their release, you know, we'll get teased with more and more information out of their codex, and of course, you know, the speculation for Kill Teams, and you know. Okay, but here's the question: if you were going to do Leagues of Votan, who's going to be their adversary in that Kill Team box? Or if they do a 2-player box set? I don't know why they would do a 2-player box set. Maybe if it. Oh man, what if it comes out as a 10th edition 40K box? Leagues of Votan versus, I don't know, Space Marines? Imperial Guard? Ooh. Leagues of Votan versus Imperial Guard? Maybe versus Eldari? Drukari? Tyranids? Oh, Leagues of Votan versus Tyranids? Just saying. Who knows? We're speculating here, kids. We're speculating. This again, I have no inside track on this info. Colin Stapleton. Big question is, will we get an Overlord airship? Do you think they'll go the similar route they did with Overlords for Age of Sigmar? Do you think we'll get do you think it'll be like a kind of a play on their themes? I'm not opposed to it. I don't know. It feels like with the space dwarves, bringing them back, that they would because again, like, dwarf technology should be better than human technology, at least in 40K terms, at least like the way they used to be. Because like in Epic, the squats had a land train. It was just a hover train. It was a big train, but it was armed to the teeth with missiles and guns and doodads and all sorts of craziness. And it was, you know, it was this monstrous machine. Or, and here's the anticlimactic thing, what if these Leagues of Votan are simply auxiliary for Imperial Guard or for Adepta Militarum, or what is it? Adeptus Militarum? What if they're just an auxiliary unit? Because they do refer to them as kin in the article. They see themselves as kin to humans, right? Which, of course, in 40k lore, they are, right? Because the space dwarves are supposed to be from planets of high gravity and highly radioactive worlds, and so they dug themselves deep into the caverns of their worlds for protection, and because they lived in confined little spaces, they got small, right? Same with like ratlings, and then of course ogrins, right? But again, it was like a one-to-one translation of Warhammer Fantasy, which was a play on Tolkien's creations. And Warhammer 40,000 was Warhammer Fantasy, but in the far future, right? And so you basically had this kind of one-to-one translation of ogres, humans, ratlings, dwarves, orcs, snotlings, right? All that stuff. Then, of course, they introduced like Tyranids and aliens and, other crazy crap, and it starts taking a life of its own and becomes its own thing. But, yeah, it started off more like a one-to-one translation. But anyway, but yeah, as far as them getting Overlord, like airships, like space blimps, I could see it. I could see it. I could see them doing something that looked like the carryalls from Dune, from the new Dune movie. You know how the carryall looks, how it's got big inflatable things that pop out, and it can just lift these heavy objects and shit. Yeah, I can see them having a space carryall, or even a small version of it. Maybe it's like a scout unit or something like that, and it's got like little airbags, and it's kind of like it's like an Amazon air drone. Maybe it's a drone, or maybe it's got one or two little dwarves in it with machine guns and missile launchers, or sensory doodads, whatever it is, right? I could totally see something like that. Sure, I could totally see that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking that'd be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's kind of cool. Sir Peanut Butter, morning, Kris and Peeps, morning. Night Warden Gaming, where does it fit with Horus Heresy coming out? Ooh, where does it fit within Horus Heresy? Well, dwarves definitely should be in Horus Heresy. Although, from what I've read, I have not read everything in Horus Heresy, but from what I've read, it seems like alien races, everything, just gets annihilated. The humans are just annihilating and creating mass genocide throughout the galaxy. And, it is what it is, of course. And so dwarves, would they really have been, an adversary? Or would they have been integrated, like the ratlings and the ogrins, right? Of course, all you old school 40k people, and I know you're all out there, you remember Beastmen being part of Imperial Guard as well. Because they were humans. They just kind of mutated into, looking like goats and shit like that, right? The Imperial Guard used to have Beastmen as well. Then, of course, they moved them over to be more like Chaos because, they're all warped and shit like that, right? So, but yeah. Horus Heresy? I can see it. I mean, why not? Why not? Right? And hell, in Horus Heresy, maybe they even have they lean more heavily into the Caradon Overlords vibe of them. Just to give them kind of, a bit more of I don't know. A bit more of a tie-in aesthetic, I suppose. But yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Especially now that Horus Heresy is coming out and everybody's freaking about that. Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff, man. It's exciting stuff. Simply Mini Painting. But the amount of love 40k gets compared to Age of Sigmar is greatly disproportional. Like, what 5 Crusade books? And we are just getting 1 for Age of Sigmar. Right. But see, I think that's a problem of legacy. Warhammer 40,000 is 30 plus years old, right? And, 87 is when Rogue Trader came out, right? So 87. How long is that? I don't even know. 35 years. Holy shit. So 35 years old. And there's this plethora of material written there. Whereas Age of Sigmar, they're still making it up. Even right now, I mean, Age of Sigmar is what, 4 years old, 5 years old. How old is Warhammer Age of Sigmar? It's not that old, but so they're still creating all the universe. It's still building that world. So with Warhammer 40K, a person could take a text from 10, 15 years ago that made a small mention of a world or a system, and people were like, yeah, what about that system? What about that world? And okay, great. Here's a campaign happening with what happened on that world. And then also, and you're just adding more and more layers to the story. Whereas Age of Sigmar, it's still a sapling, and it's, you know what I mean? Whereas Warhammer 40,000 is a grown tree kind of thing, right? So I think that's the difference. That's the big difference. It's because Warhammer 40,000 is the older child, and there's more established there, right? Which is probably why Age of Sigmar looks like it gets so much attention initially and so much effort from the sculptors and stuff like that, because it's new and because they're taking it in all sorts of different places, which is great. I think that's fantastic. But yeah, it's still setting its roots, right? Whereas 40K has got deep, far-reaching roots. Sophie, wow. So Fantasy was kicked out of the house? Yeah, basically Fantasy was kicked out of the house. He was Fantasy was the twin brother of Warhammer 40,000 and was kicked out of the house. He showed up with a bunch of strangers, and they were drinking, partying in the house. They threw up and they trashed the house. Parents says, "You're out. Get a job or you're out." And he didn't want to work. He didn't want to do anything new. He didn't want to get a job. He didn't want to make any money. He didn't want to do anything, right? He just wanted to be. He just said, "You know what? I'm Warhammer Fantasy. Respect me." And they said, "No, get the fuck out. You're done." And they kicked him out. Warhammer 40,000 became, the favorite again, until the new baby, Age of Sigmar, came along, and now Age of Sigmar gets all of Mommy and Daddy's love, and Warhammer 40,000 has been like, I'm still here, and so now Warhammer 40,000 is back. It's back. And all the other kids, Necromunda and Battlefleet Gothic. We don't talk about Battlefleet Gothic, apparently, so. Simply manipulating. Could be rail. It could be rail, but it's rail is too limiting, right? I mean, I can see something that looks like the Primaris tank with the anti-grav thingies and something like that, but you link a bunch of them and it's a big fuck off train. I don't know, it's pretty weak. I mean, it seems like a lot of Warhammer 40,000 stuff has shifted away from the massive scale battles, right? It's not about, the Titans and big war machines, right? It's more about the infantry all fighting each other and, forming battle lines and, stuff like that. I'd like to see a return of Apocalypse. The last iteration of Apocalypse, I had no issue with, but it made it feel a bit more like the gameplay could have just easily have been 5mm Space Marines, right? Like 5mm guys. You might as well just give us Epic back, rather than giving us, large scale Warhammer 40,000, which, in 4th edition they introduced us to destroyer type weapons and the massive blast templates and stuff like that. And I thought that served it pretty well. You still played Warhammer 40,000 like you did normally, but with the big fucking templates where lay it down, boom, everybody there's dead. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, oh. Okay, whatever. And you scoop it out. Because it's an excuse to bring all your stuff, bring your entire army, and play with the entire thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really great excuse to have those kinds of battles. And they were just for fun. Nobody was playing Apocalypse like a competitive game. It was entirely a narrative experience. Entirely. You might as well just stay within PowerPoint levels in Apocalypse, although it wasn't a thing during Apocalypse, but where was it? In the new edition? I have the last edition of Apocalypse, and yeah, I hardly ever get to play. I had to get to play anything, really, but yeah. The rule set for Apocalypse, it just felt too much like Epic. And you might as well just give us Epic and give us large-scale apocalypse-sized 40k games. Bring back destroyer weapons. Bring back the Titan weapons that just annihilate entire formations. That was fine. Apocalypse was never about even matched play. And if anybody who was playing it that way, it was really more about the narrative, the massive battle, right? The spectacle, right? It was a spectacle. Anyway, Sophie, Way the Brush episode, Kris drools over squat picks. That almost sounds dirty. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yes, I know I'm being creepy again, but yeah, that sounds a little dirty. Russ Sandbags. Hey, do you know if they have they announced the Chaos Knight release date? The release date? No, I don't think they've talked about the release date. They've talked about what you get in the box, which it sounds like a pretty damn good deal, right? It's a knight, it's the war dogs, it's the codex, and the data cards. Like, that's what. How much is an Imperial Knight right now? Jeez Louise, let's look. I'm gonna go to the site right now. All right, exclusives. Warhammer 40,000. Imperial Knights, Armies of the Imperium. Okay, Imperial Knight. What's an Imperial Knight? 100 British pounds. What is that? That's $200 Canadian. Every night, just about every night's £100. Armigers. Yeah, that's it. The war dogs are armigers. What's 100 British pounds? It's like almost 200 Canadian, right? Oh, fuck it. I'll go to the Canadian site. Hold on. Fucking with my eye holes. I like when I click a link and fuck all happens. Oh, because it was already there. I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's 200 Canadian. And the Knight Valorant is 210. So $200 for the Knight. Okay, so let's pretend. Okay. Oh shit! What was the armigers? What were those guys? So about $100 Canadian. So you're already up to $300 for a pack of 2 of those war dogs and the knight. You're already up to $300 value, or retail value, I should say. So that box is probably going to be $300, right? Canadian. I'm talking Canadian prices because I use Canuck bucks, and you're getting the codex and the data cards, and both of those are easily well over $100 Canadian, right? It's usually about what, $50 for the codex, and it's usually $50 for the cards, so it's another $100. So it's a box worth $400, and it's probably going to be like $300, maybe $320. I'm speculating. That's probably where it's going to be about. Simply painting 300 loonies. Yeah, it's about 300 loonies, eh? It's going to take quite a bit of Tim Hortons to cover that cost. Anyway, yeah. So I'd speculate that's what the box is going to cost. When it comes out, couldn't tell you. Yeah. Was that all we were talking about? Yeah, so I mean, like, it sounds like a deal. I mean, if it's 300 on the nose Canadian, it's a deal. It's a deal. You're saving $100 because you're not buying your codex and you're not buying the cards. So, yeah. But I mean, again, value and worth, I mean, those are all relatively subjective, because if you have no interest in the box, well, you're not going to buy it, right? But if you play Knights or play Chaos and you want these Knights, then yeah, you're more than likely going to pick one up, right? And why not get the codex and the cards while you're at it, right? You probably were going to do all that anyway. So, people who were looking up that Chaos Knight, yeah, you were probably going to buy it anyway, right? So, why not get the box and save yourself a couple bucks, right? Penny saved is a penny earned. Disco. Space Dwarves versus Space Elves, obviously. Yeah, you think Space Dwarves versus Space Elves? Like if we get 10th edition 40k? Because I've heard rumors of a 10th edition coming. Like, I mean, that's obviously a safe bet, right? Eventually. It's just when, right? It's when. Is it this year? Is it next year? Or the year following? It seems a little early to be doing another edition of 40K, but who knows? Waversburg. Look, if GW doesn't make a land train, they're just leaving money on the table. Make a dual box engine car and have them link up to make longer trains. Yeah, imagine some crazy asshole out there. Like if they do the land train and say it's like 2 or 3 like cars, like it's an engine and a car and then maybe like a battle car, and then you buy more and like the engine could be like, you know, a caboose unit or, you know, whatever, and then you get the extra cars and you can make like a ridiculously long land train. That would be hilarious. I don't know how you would play with that on the tabletop, but because it basically would be like, what was that video game? Not Centipede, Worm. Remember Worm? And you go around the table and you're collecting up things and the worm gets longer and longer. It'd be like that. It's a squat land train moving around, and as it's moving around trying to collect objectives and stuff, it's getting longer and longer. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Of course, with the Necromunda Ash Wastes. And again, we come back to the connection to squats with Necromunda. This is all starting to sound like tinfoil hat stuff, I know. But anyway, bear with me. Remember when we were initially talking about Necromunda Ash Wastes? And I said, you know what would be cool is like train heists. So you get the hover trains, right? Flying across the landscapes, and nomads or, you know, the houses are attacking each other, trying to rob each other's trains. Like that would have been a great scenario, right? Well, what if the model for the land train, it's actually a dwarf land train? The dwarves are moving around Necromunda. Maybe they're the guild that handles, you know, cross hive traffic. Maybe because dwarves are a little bit more resilient to the atmosphere of Necromunda. That's entirely speculation. That's entirely speculation. Just saying. Just saying. Simply manipulating. Oh no, the guns. Railguns. Yeah, railguns would, in Apocalypse, yeah, railguns would go back to like being direct heavy shots as opposed to, you know, atomic weapons. Like the Taunar, right? Like how many people have seen a Taunar on the tabletop these days, right? Bring back Apocalypse. Everybody just got demands of Games Workshop, right? Give us back Battlefleet Gothic. Bring back Apocalypse. We want Warhammer Fantasy. We want War Master. We want Man of War. We want, you know, give us our toys. I know. I know. I'm with you all. I'm with you all on that. Damn it, G-dubs. Give us our toys. Just give us our toys. Oh, man. Night Warden Gaming. With these, Lord of the Ring campaign can be played in the 40K universe. An Iron Halo must be taken to the center of the Eye of Terror to close the rift. Oh, yeah, Lord of the Rings. See, I forget about Lord of the Rings. See, Lord of the Rings is another one of those kids that, you know, you forget about. It's like, oh, Lord of the Rings, right. He's kind of malnourished in the corner. He's, Tiny Tim. He's Tiny Tim. God bless us, everyone. It's either Lord of the Rings or it's Aeronautica, because I feel like Aeronautica is, you know, it struggles to, you know, to make its. I don't know what the sales are like for Aeronautica, but in my parts, there's not a lot of love for Aeronautica in my area, so I don't know. I guess it's a bias, I suppose I'm seeing. I mean, I love Aeronautica. I own 2 versions of it. I own the Tau versus the Imperials, and I own the Eldar versus the Space Marines. And, you know, I've bought those. I spent money on those. Okay, let me say that right there. I spent money on those. So, anyway. Zero Hobbies. We once played a game of APOC over a weekend. It was a blast. Yeah. Like you and I? Or like we as in we? Or we? We? Yeah, I loved Apocalypse. And yeah, I mean, like, who took Apocalypse seriously? Who took it seriously? Like, you can't take Apocalypse seriously. It is entirely a narrative-driven experience, right? and it's entirely cinematic, and it looks fucking great when all the models and all the terrain are done, right? When you have great armies in Apocalypse, it kind of like, you couldn't even slap one color on the models, like, you know. But when you have a whole group of people and everybody's armies are painted, and yeah, it's a really, really fun experience, and it's completely narrative. Man, you set the points values, but I mean, does anybody really, like, if you go 100 points over in a 50,000 point battle, does anybody really care? That's kind of like going 1 point over in your army list playing a regular 1,000 point game, right? Like, all right, whatever, I don't care. Like, what's the cost of one bolt pistol? Ooh, he won because of 1 point? Like, come on, give me a break. Zero hobbies, around 120, yeah. Simple mini painting, 300 loony, yeah. Evan Belleau, Way the Brush, episode 376. Is it 377? I know, I thought I changed it to 377. You messing with me? You messing with me? People messing with me. Don't mess with me. Mess with the bull. I love that in Breakfast Club. Don't mess with the bull, son. Get the horns. Anyway, Evan Belleau, Way the Brush, episode 377. Took a hit right in the caboose. That's it. Yeah, you win. You win, Eb. You and Brock. You win. Because I'm sure Brock probably helped you out with that one, right? If not, I'm just gonna say he did. Because that's too clever for you, bud. He's like, fuck you. I'm plenty clever. Took a hit right in the caboose. That's got enough innuendo in it to satisfy this old perv. Oh, man. Simply, no, I'm sorry. The squat model could be using rail. Oh, like a rail gun. Oh, I got you. See, like when they got the little vents and everything like that on the guns, that always reminds me more of like the Melta, or, even like the Tau. The Tau have, like, on their plasma rifles, right? They have that diagonal type of grill, I don't know. It's the design language, right? It's these themes that play out and automatically tell the audience, just from a visual standpoint, of what we're looking at, right? Like, plasma weapons will always have those little fucking coils on them. Melta weapons will always have, barrels with the grills, like the holes in them, right? Bolt guns and, shit like that will always look like machine guns, like you can see lever actions on them and shit like that. And, like, it's a visual language that they tell through the sculpts. So you automatically know, oh, that's a plasma weapon. That's Melta weapon. That's, it's a visual language. And of course, it goes across most of the other factions. They'll play off that idea, just so that we all don't get lost, right? Like a flamer will always have a canister on it, and then have like the little nozzle, many holes near the end, right? And that looks the same across like Eldar, Space Marines, Imperial Guard, blah 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 blah. Except Tyranids. Tyranids is crazy doodads. Sophie, Apocalypse 8S, the perfect excuse to blow things up. Oh, yeah, Apocalypse? Yeah, Apocalypse is, you spent like an hour setting your army up, and it takes you 5 minutes to just pull the whole thing right off the table. Yeah, you Company of Space Marines? Yeah, they just got hit by, a Warlord Titan's apocalyptic missile barrage, and, like, all those Terminators just died. And you're like, oh, all right. All right. Yeah. But I love Apocalypse. Apocalypse, like, for my money, Apocalypse is where it's at. Warhammer 40,000, that's where my brain goes for anything in Warhammer 40,000, is the vast scale of battle. I don't really think about, Space Marines stealthily approaching a fuel dump and blowing it up kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like special mission or special ops kind of missions, right? I don't think of that. That's more the kill team. Kill team's really great, but it doesn't draw the same enthusiasm as seeing the big fucking war machines just annihilating each other, right? Like that feels more like Warhammer 40,000 to me, is fucking giant titans walking around and these massive tanks shooting at each other and big monsters walking around and demons and explosions and entire companies of people just blowing up, and it's just mass carnage, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria, right? So, yeah. Waversburg. They're putting chemicals in the water that lengthens the friggin' land trains. It's turning the frogs gay. Zero's hobby. 90% of GW's artwork is definitely apocalypse themed. Yeah, exactly, right? Because the mass scale of warfare in Warhammer 40,000, we immediately think of apocalypse levels of battles taking place, right? Like, it's like that intro video for Horus Heresy, right? I love it. I love that scene where Horus has that Marine and he just, yeets him right off his claws, and he's looking out over the battlefield, and you could see the massive armies coming together and they're all just blasting away at each other. That, in my brain, that is Warhammer 40,000. That moment right there in that video, that is Warhammer 40,000. Massive titans shooting at each other, blowing up entire divisions of infantry just shooting at each other almost ineffectually, and then tanks all just rumbling around, and you know what I mean? Like, mass carnage, right? So, definitely. Apocalypse definitely feels like it is Warhammer 40,000. And that's what I really, really enjoy about Warhammer 40,000. Like I said many, many times, I'm sure many of you longtime listeners know that I lean very heavy towards sci-fi, and I lean very heavy towards Warhammer 40,000 over any other game genres, whatevers. I like sci-fi. I like spaceships. I like laser beams, aliens, mass carnage. Those are the things that excite me. Excite me. Like, I'm excited. Or maybe I'm well caffeinated, one of the two. Sophie, what would be great is 10,000 point army, 2 players just spending a weekend gossiping and trying to blast each other off the table. Yeah, exactly. That is a good weekend. That is a weekend well spent. Of course, 10,000 points playing regular 40k, and then, because we used to do that back in the day. Group of us, 4 guys. I used to play Eldar, of course. Brother-in-law used to play, and he was playing Chaos, very Khorne heavy. Other buddy used to play Dark Eldar at the time, and our other buddy, he played Black Templars. And so you can kind of already imagine how the sides went. And either it would be Eldar versus the humans, or it'd be good versus evil. One of the two. That's usually the way we play those bigger type games. And yeah, I don't even know if we ever finished a game. Honestly, because we'd get beer, and by turn 2, if we got to turn 2 or 3, yeah, we were already lit, and it's or just the mass carnage, and there'd only be a few things left, and it's like, who's got the least amount of shit left? Okay, well, you lost. It's like, but I still got my big tank. Nah, you still lost. Sophie, 10,000 points each. That's a game. Yeah, no, I get you. 10,000 points total, or even 10,000 points per. Yeah, 20,000. 10,000 is a lot to manage. I mean, it does take a weekend. It does. It's an experience. All right, let's do another looky-loo of what's happening with the G-Dub side of things. So, Arena Shades. Yeah. It has that Scriptor Mortis and the Gladiatrix. Gladiatrix? Yeah. I started painting up the Scriptor. You know what? I can kind of quickly show you guys here. I started painting them up. I'll probably post a pic on the Instagrams. But I started painting them up. He's a ghost. Ghost. Oh. But yeah. They were kind enough to send me a copy. Thank you, G-Dubs. And yeah, I did an unbox video. You can check it out if you want. Or don't. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You're not hurting my freaking feelings. But yeah, unfortunately, I think they could have waited until tomorrow to tell us about squats. I think they should have let this breathe, let everybody get nice and pumped up about Reno shades, and let everybody go through their wallets and go, okay, wait, I can buy it now, and then squats, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Oh, and then of course, yeah, so we got some of these classic models as well. So they're doing these paint battles, classic models. Is this part of their range rotation? Oh, the terrain, the Battle Zone Frontiers. What's the full set? About almost 300 for the full set. Canadian. Sorry, I'm looking at the Canadian. Moogs. Man, where are the Eldar mugs? God damn it. What, Eldar can't drink? Nice. I'm kind of surprised that these guys got released right away. The Autark Rangers and Shroud Runners. I'm a little surprised. I'm not disappointed. I think it's great that they parted those out really fast. But yeah. Why is the Predator Annihilator in the thing? Pre-order. You can pre-order a Predator Annihilator. Apparently. Typhoon. Why are these Space Marine things in this? These are old. Or are they liquidating? Are they getting rid of, trying to get rid of some of this old stock? Eh? Tinfoil hat time, Ken. Ken. Who's Ken? Kids. Tinfoil hat time. Are we going to see a bunch of Space Marine stuff? We're going to push a bunch of Space Marine kits, like the older Space Marine kits, because new stuff's coming. Like, for example, because here's the fun part with Horus Heresy coming to the main product line, everything being in plastics, right? Is that they can take those classic designs from the Horus Heresy and then 40K them up, right? So they can take the old Predator design, which is well established. If you go to Forge World and you look at how they've emulated the classic look of Rogue Trader era type of models, but obviously updated them. Well, now I would speculate that they are going to get plastic versions, and those plastic kits can get translated over to 40K, or maybe both. Maybe those classic Horus Heresy kits will just get integrated into brand new kits. I don't know. That's speculation. Or maybe it's just Games Workshop we want to make more money. It could be just that simple as well. Yeah, we like making money, so we're going to make more money. You know what? I like making money. Let's make more. Okay. that could be as far as the discussions go in the the planning phase, in the meetings, right, between all the higher up, the upper brass of Games Workshop. I like making money, and the other guys are going, all the other suits are, you know what, I like making money too. I kind of went into a Rodney Dangerfield, but anyway, I tell you, I get no respect. And yeah, they would just want to make money. They're a business, right? So again, when you view a lot of these decisions that happen from that vantage point, yeah, these decisions seem kind of obvious, right? Sophie, when the Norse Blood Bowl team out? When is it out? I don't know. Why the fuck are you guys asking me? I don't have release dates. Don't ask me. And even if I did have release dates, do you think I could talk about it? If I did, which I don't. So I'm not. So stop asking. Simply mini painting. No Eldar can't drink. That is what screwed them over in the first place. Oh, yeah, you think so? The alcohol? They drank too much? But then you'd think you'd have, fucking Eldar with beer bellies. If they were drinking too much Eldar juice. Or too much Eldar booze. Whatever, right? Because they would have big pot bellies on them. I'm just picturing an Eldar with a pot belly. Their fucking uniforms don't fit anymore. Every time they bend over, you can just see a big ass crack. Space Marine's looking at the Eldar like, Jesus, that guy really let himself go. Yo, bro, we got a program to get you off the booze, man. Having fucking interventions for like a fucking striking Scorpion Exarch who's got like a beer gut on him. The comedy, it writes itself, for God's sakes, under these crazy ass premises. But you're right, Eldar can't drink. I don't know. Evan Belleau. My favorite GW April Fool was the left-handed brush set. Yeah, the left-handed brush set. Yeah, or the somebody brought up as well. It was the pots of water, GW water. Everybody was like, "Yeah, this sounds like a GW move. I think this is real." Evan Belleau. The space elves are teetotalers. That would make them even more difficult to tolerate than they already are. Time to start dipping Boulder round tips in ale out of spite. Yeah, pretty much. Simply mini painting. First came the drinking, then the fornication, then the evil fornication, then Slaanesh. The fornication and then the evil fornication? I don't even know where to go with that one. First came the drinking, then the fornication, then the evil fornication, then Slaanesh. One of those steps in that process felt redundant. Somewhere. I don't know where. We'll have to nail it down somewhere. Sophie. Doubt it'd be beer for Eldar, more like fancy wines. Okay, so maybe, Eldar always all the time with their headaches, their wine headaches. Leads them to go psychotic because they always got fucking headaches. They're always hungover. I'm not saying you're wrong, and there's no evidence pointing against it, because in the books they describe them drinking like a wine. So yeah. On the craft worlds, I imagine in Gamora, yeah, it's just like a big bottle, just. They're just still living it up. Which sounds like it might be a really kick-ass place to live, right? Might be a really kick-ass place to live. I don't know. I mean, you probably wouldn't stay very long, because either you get in with the wrong crowd and end up getting shanked, or you end up owing somebody something and you get shanked, or you meet a girl or guy and you hit it off and you think, you know what, I think we might be soulmates, and then you get shanked. Either way, I think your time in Kimura will be short and you'll get shanked. Sid Tyler, How to Roll Dice. Yeah, How to Roll Dice. Yeah, that's another one, yeah. Night Warden Gaming. The Warter, yeah, was a good one. Had me going at first. Yeah, the Warter. Yeah, Warter. Yep. El Grifolorian. Man, Grifolorian? LOL. Peter Magro. Good evening, hot tub lovers. Hey, speaking of hot tubs, tonight, whether or not I'll stream it, or video it, or whatever, but yeah, it's hot tub tonight. The air it's still a little cool, but there's no snow in my area. It's still a little cold though, but in the sun it feels great. But in the like when you go into the sun and the sun just feels, ooh, it's hot, and then when you go in the shade, it's like, ooh, it's cold. That's what it feels like right now. I don't even know what the temperature is around here. What is the temperature around here? Actually, I'll do it on my phone. I know if I click another button, I'll end up sending my computer into a tailspin or something. Shut up. What is the temperature here? Oh, it's 4 degrees. It's 4. It's balmy weather. It's almost shorts weather. It's almost shorts weather, man. It's almost shorts weather. It's Canadian short weather. It's when we get up into 10, man, like everybody starts wearing those big sun hats and fanning themselves. Yeah. Then it gets up to 20. My God, people are dying. Gets up to 30. It's the apocalypse. We're done. We're all thinking like, fuck, are we living on the sun? Like, that's what everybody says. Are we living on the sun? Very soon, probably. Sophie, Dark Eldar world would be boozing origins and kinky play. Or would it be kinky boozing and origins play? You don't know. El Griffalorian. So was the Space Dwarves an April Fool's joke or not? It was a joke, but it was true. Because, alright, well, because El Griffalorian said it. Oh, fuck, I took the window down. Oops. I fucked up. Hold on, I'm fucking with my eye holes again. There we go. Okay, so. Was it an April Fool's? It kind of was. And it wasn't. Because there's dwarves. Space dwarves are back. The Leagues of Votan. Votan? Votan? I don't know. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, and I'm not sure. But I'm sure once we get into the lore and the codex and, you know what I mean, and they start telling us the backstory and basically kind of reintegrating these little fellers back into the universe, welcoming them back into the universe, I'm sure. But yeah. Leagues of Votan. I'm in. They had me at squat. They're really cool looking though. Well, at least this one. I mean, the next one could look like shit, I suppose, but I guess. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway. So, yes. It was an April Fool's, but like some speculated, it was a double bluff. I was hoping it was going to be a Battlefleet Gothic double bluff, but I'm also happy that it was a Squats double bluff. Or excuse me, Leagues of Votan. Votan? How do you say it? How do you say that name? Let me know. Spell it out phonetically for me so I can butcher it appropriately. EG Shenanigans. Hello, EG. Sid's Tyler. I like this model. I really want to see others. Yeah, same here. I mean, the news will trickle out, I'm sure, until the release date as they slowly build up hype, right? We're still in the midst of a hype cycle right now of Tyranids. We're in the Tyranid hype cycle, and then the next one will probably be, well, Squats, and then probably something for Age of Sigmar, and you know what I mean? And, you know, of course, you know, I'll be having that conversation all the time, because I think my channel has kind of become this short format kind of thing with this long ass video where I'm just, you know, basically talking shit and, you know, yeah. But I mean, we're having fun, aren't we? We're having fun. That's what a hobby is, isn't it? A hobby is having fun. And yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you see these new models, you know, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to say they look cool. I'm glad that this is an addition coming into the universe. Am I going to buy it? Probably not. Right? That's okay. Where I kind of, you know, I have an issue is when people just immediately, no, hate it, don't like it, no, looks stupid. Well, why does it look stupid? Because it looks stupid. Like, give me some fucking reasons, or, you know, like, hello, like, you know, just straight out saying, no, hate it. Yeah, like, were you one of those kids who was like, you know, I don't want my Brussels sprouts. I hate broccoli. Like, like, do they not realize how childish that all sounds? I mean, I imagine not, because, you know, they're used to that kind of bullshit. But yeah, I mean, like, it's okay to enjoy this shit, because again, we're getting all worked up over little plastic toy soldiers that we paint, that we spend stupid amounts of money on. So why take the joy out of it? Especially with how fucking goofy the world is. Why take away somebody's joy? You know what I mean? Or even throw a little sand on it. Like, you know, did your mommy and daddy not love you enough? Like, hello? Like, do you just need a hug? Is that all it is? Will that change your entire attitude? It's just a simple hug? Come here, my boy or girl. Come here. I'll give you a hug. If that's what you need, I will give you a hug. Evan Flow, GW wanted the Squats to get some love. Darkholm, damn ankles. Cankles? They're cankles? Do the dwarves have cankles? Oh fuck, I keep closing the window. Shit. Yeah, they got some big fat feet. And like, it's foot, ankle, then knee. They barely have shin. There's no shins to them. They're shinless. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway. El Griffalorian. I was hoping for Blackstone Fortress content, but I'm down for Space Dwarfs. Yeah. Well, I mean, even Blackstone Fortress. Space Dwarfs. Chuck them in. Make an edition box for Blackstone Fortress. Of course, they got to make sure that everybody can get a copy of Blackstone Fortress with all the expansions, of course, so that, because I don't even have Blackstone Fortress, and, like, I'm not super dying for it, but the models are fucking beautiful. And it's Warhammer Quest, which is really, really fun, so why not, right? Night Warden Gaming. I like that you can put a pickaxe on the power packs. Wonder if there will be weapon options. Oh, I imagine there's gonna be weapon options. Again, like, yeah, they just released this news 3 hours ago, so we're just at the very tip of the iceberg here as far as what's going to be coming for them. Like, I like the fact that we're getting squats. I like that we're getting this new faction, hopefully. I mean, it's got the Warhammer 40k logo on it, which means it's going to be for the main game itself, right? Which means, so we can get Kill Team, we can get them in Necromunda possibly, we could possibly get them in Blackstone Fortress, right? Aeronautica. What about dwarf ships, airships? Because the dwarves used to have an air fleet back in the day. Well, even in Battlefleet Gothic, the Demiurge, that they were described being the squats, right? If you read the lore on them, they read like they're the squats. And they have spaceships and they have crazy crap, and you know what I mean? Like, they're a fully fledged faction that just have not gotten any attention, right? Why? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe because whoever is in charge of it didn't like where anything of the designs were going. Maybe they felt they're too goofy, too lean, too heavily towards the Age of Sigmar look, or maybe there's a bazillion different reasons why they have not jumped on it, and then they finally feel like now is the time to bring squats back in. It's been since the beginning of second edition, because they existed for a little bit in second edition, and then were dropped. And that ire that drew, that has persisted for 30 years. Because second edition was like 91, 92, I think. Something like that. So people have been butthurt for a very long time. And it's everybody around my age group that's just still salty about, squats getting axed. Because at the beginning of second edition, they were there. There was data cards for them. There was, rules for them. There was there even psychic powers? No, because dwarves don't have psychics. But anyway, they had all the rules. And second edition had the Black Book, which was like an army list of all the factions. And the squats were in there. So, yeah. Pretty sure squats were in there. Because they had data cards for the trikes and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway. El Griffalorian. Used to play dwarves in the old Warhammer Mythic MMO. Cool, yeah. I'm curious. I want to see what the dwarves look like with the helmets. Are they going to make them look a bit like Overlords of Caradon? Where they have like the sculpted beard thing, and you know what I mean? Like, are they going to make them look like that? Or are they going to make them look like something else? What are we going to see? I'm more curious about like small vehicles and big vehicles. I'm curious about the overall design aesthetic of them, because they describe them being kin to the Imperium, which means that they are a human faction of sorts. So is their technology going to look very human, or is it going to look more like pre-heresy, where there's curvatures and stuff? Right? Like, again, these are all very exciting things to think about. And I look forward to when we get closer to this release date for these guys, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Are they going to be broke? Too early to even talk about that. I mean, if you're to borrow what dwarves were like in Warhammer Fantasy and what we get in Age of Sigmar, what will that give us an idea of what we'll see as far as what they're going to be like in Warhammer 40,000? Warhammer Fantasy, what were dwarves all about? Artillery. They were all about the big fucking guns. In Age of Sigmar, A little different. Flying thingies, dropping bombs, little dwarf slayers. Oh man, are we gonna get 40k dwarf slayers? Holy shit! I will. My brain will explode right now if we get 40k dwarf slayers. Like a dwarf who's got, like, you know, the big red mohawk, and maybe he's only got minimal amount of power armor, but he's like super juiced up, and he's got 2 power axe blades, and he's, you know, he's a Tyrannid slayer. Another guy is a demon slayer, and another guy is, you know what I mean? We'll bring back the slayers, and we'll bring them into 40k, and these dwarves will be just hulking. That's kind of oxymoron, isn't it? Anyway, these little slayers. Are we going to get slayers in this new Leagues of Votan? And it says Leagues of Votan, so does that mean that they're not like a one unified kind of faction? That they're leagues. They're like little pockets of dwarf factions all over the place who, you know, obviously fight alongside the Imperium or part of the Imperium, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But the idea of dwarf slayers, because I always love the dwarf slayer look. The what are the fire slayers? Is that what they're called in Age of Sigmar now? Anyway, I really enjoyed those guys. Not just because they're little naked dwarves, but it's the aesthetic. And of course, you know, in Warhammer Fantasy, the slayers were just awesome. That's the only reason I would get into dwarves in Warhammer Fantasy was for the slayers, because they're just too awesome. Will we get those in 40k? Holy shit, will we get those in 40k? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I would love it if we got a dwarf slayer unit in 40k, or a special character who's a dwarf slayer, and he's got, like, you know, the armor with the chain axes, and, you know, he's got the big red mohawk, and he's a Tyrannid slayer. He's all about fighting the Tyrannids and taking on the big giant beasties, right? He's got the, like, trophies of, like, Tyrannid claws and teeth, and, you know what I mean? Like, he's just, you know, he's got, like, little pants. Maybe he wears no boots, right? He might have a shoulder pad, you know, armor. He might have his little rebreather so he doesn't choke out in a vacuum or whatever, right? And then he's got his 2 big chain axes, and he's, you know, he's running around smacking up monsters. Again, go anywhere with this stuff. Jabba's left nut. Kris is as wet as an otter's pocket for squats. Well, it's exciting. It's exciting because we're finally seeing the return of a much beloved and bemoaned faction that got shafted 30 years ago. They got the shaft 30 years ago, and we're finally seeing justice for squats. Justice for squats. Justice for squats. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be picketing in the streets with that one. Everybody be like, what? Justice for what? Like squats, like at the gym? Barford Jeep, hello there. Hello there. Jan Vigo Newberg Johansson. Jeez, that's a mouthful. I loved everything new. Won't buy anything new. No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you can love everything and not buy it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can buy everything and not love it, which is kind of weird, but okay, you know. Sure, right? I mean, it goes both ways. Jabba's left nut. Oh, no. Peter Magro. Squats in Necromunda. A beard gang? Bikers, obviously. Well, yeah, well, of course. I mean, if you go to any Rogue Trader imagery, the squats are always depicted as, like, these little biker dudes. And squats in Necromunda? Sure, why not? Right? Like, with this Ash Wastes coming out, I would love... I mean, again, remember I was talking about train heists, right? Wouldn't it be awesome if squats got a train, and the houses and the nomads can attack the trains, and it's full of fucking squats, and it's all about protecting the train or robbing the train, right? Wouldn't that be a fun scenario? Now, mind you, I mean, like, you would have to play it out as the entire table is moving, and the train is slowly moving across the table as everything else is whipping past, and if you fall, you fucking get wiped right out, you know, that kind of shit, you know. It'd be fun, though. It'd be fun. It's a scenario. It's just, you know, it's having fun. Like, these are fucking games. Games are supposed to be fun. Right? I mean, did I just fall off the turnip truck? I mean, games are supposed to be fun, right? Barfing Sheep, episode 370. Why did everybody keep typing in 376? Butthurt for 30 years. Is the title of the show not 377? It says 377. 370. You guys are fucking me up with this shit. Stop it. Stop fucking me up. Stop. Sid Tyler, and rightfully so, kind of shitty to convince people to spend mad money on 40k army when basically pull the rug out from under them by removing the army. Allegedly, they sold well too. I don't remember a lot of squat forces on the table back in the day. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it didn't occur. I don't recall ever seeing that. I don't recall anybody. Yeah, honestly, I mean, in Rogue Trader, I had some squats and I used them, because I had a mixed force. I mean, you could easily do that back in the day. But anyway, but like in the beginning of 2nd edition, I don't remember ever playing against squats. I don't remember anybody playing squats. No. So but again, that was a long time ago. But I don't remember ever playing. I never fielded an entire squat army, and I don't recall ever playing an entire squat army. Now I know there were collectors who had squats who just basically proxied them as just Imperial Guard. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah. Again, though, I never played against. At least I don't remember ever playing them. Sid Tyler, apparently the official reason was just they couldn't get into them. They felt too much like parody and couldn't figure out a direction to take them and just gave up on them, I guess. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, again, yeah. Where do you take them, right? I mean, do you make them look alien? Do you make them look, human? Do you make their lore that they're, because in the original lore, dwarves, ratlings, and ogrins, they're all just humans. They're just mutated. Oh, and beastmen as well, right? And so where do you go with them and make them fit, right? So, yeah. I get it. I mean, but I mean, I've always wanted to see the return of the squats. I've been on that side of bring squats back. I support it, but I'm, if it was a cause, I might wear the ribbon. I might put the ribbon on my car. You know what I mean? It's that was the level of support. Anyway. Sid Tyler, I just want them in Terminator armor and battle suits. Yeah, will we get the exo armor? The squat exo armor. Will we see that return? Again, all these questions, man. Yeah. And we're all going to go bananas trying to game this all out. Anyway. Peter Magro. Votan is English name for Odin, the Viking main god. Maybe friends of the Space Wolves then? Well, they're dwarves, so dwarves have always had that kind of, that Nordic vibe to them, right? There's the runes and fuck off beards, right? So, they've always had that vibe. And I mean, sure, bring it back. Because, I mean, even that new guy, you can see he's got, 40k version of runes, which is really, really cool. And, I think that's really awesome. That the language is already there. It's all this stuff, all the background source stuff is already there. And they've just had to just update it and, give it a unique silhouette, right? So, yeah. The Wannabe Painter. Hey, monkeys. Hope you're all fine. Have a nice weekend. Later, dude. Sophie says 375 on the screen. LOL. It's 376 on us and the screen. It should be 77. What are you talking about? God dang it. You guys are messing with me. You guys are messing with me. Stop messing with me. No, it says 37. Oh, because I didn't. Oh, there's always one thing I forget to change. Yes. Can I do this while it's on? Let's see.